I wasn't listening.
Okay.
On the height.
Oh, the height. Okay. So when you're sitting comfortable in your chair, all the way back, you want your armpits level with the height of your table. Yeah. You don't want to be too low or too high. So you don't want to be looking down your side or be too far up. Just want to have that nice and level, comfortable. So in here we have a tray with some files and your saw frame. So this saw frame will hold your saw blade. It's a jeweler saw. This tray pulls out to catch your debris. And first off, we're going to drill holes in our shapes. So use the drill blocks rather than drilling holes in the bench pin. And I will give everyone a new drill bit to use today. So the secret to keeping the drill bits sharp are to use oil and to go in quick, in and out quick. Don't let the drill bit get hot or it loses its temper and hardness and then it just goes dull right away. So we're going to use what's called a flex shaft machine, a Fordham flex shaft. Has anyone used these before? It's kind of like a Dremel. Have you used a Dremel? And it's got a foot pedal like a sewing machine, so you can go slow and speed up. So you can really control your speed. And this is the chuck. This is the chuck key. And like a drill bit, like a drill, it has, you know, open and close to hold your bits. So this can have drill bits or all sorts of different attachments put in it. And it can close up to nothing, so you can put the smallest in there that you can find. So for this, I'm just going to close the chuck a bit. I'm going to insert my drill bit all the way down. It's really tiny and fragile, so if you have too much sticking out, the drill bit can snap off if it gets bumped. So I like to push it all the way down and then just tighten. So when I'm sitting at the bench, if I'm right-handed, I like to have the machine on my right side. If you're left-handed, you would sit on the other side here to have it on your left side. And the foot pedal can just be passed across underneath. So I just put a bit of oil on the tip of the bit. Hold your metal with your hand and insert it into that divot you made with the center punch. And once you're in the wood, just pull up and then stop after you're completely out. And each time I drill, I add more oil. So nice and quick, and then the drill bit doesn't get heated up. And then once you're done, just remove the bit so it doesn't get bumped accidentally and break. And then the bits usually live in here. I'll leave this out for you guys to use today. So I have my holes drilled, and you can feel on the back it's got a bit of a burr. It doesn't really matter for today because we're just doing it for practice, but if you did drill a hole that would be for a jump ring, you can deburr that by grabbing a larger drill bit. A larger drill bit, and then just with your fingers in a clockwise motion you can deburr it. It's like kind of beveling your edge, and I usually do that on both sides if I'm, you know, having a drill bit hole as my final hole, so you can feel the difference between them. So first off, I'm going to saw my straight line first. So the blades are in a bundle wrapped with wire. So you're going to unwrap the wire a bit, and then you can pull out a blade. And the teeth You want them facing down. I have a diagram on the board there. So what I like to do is, these are your clamps where the blade will go in. I like to hold it here, hands free. And then I like to hold my blade, teeth facing down and out. So down towards the handle. So I'm going to put it in this clamp first. And you want it so it's straight. You don't want your blade up or too far down. You want it straight across in the clamp and then clamp it shut. Then if you look at my blade up at the top here, you can see where it's sitting. And if I hold the handle with my left hand, you can see I can push it in quite a ways. So when it's in the clamp area, we want to push it in so it's way up there rather than back here. And then clamp it shut and then release. And you want it nice and tight, kind of like a guitar string. You don't want it flimsy or it'll be hard to saw in a straight line and it will break more easily. So just feel it from the back so you don't cut yourself at how tight that is.
So the cutting surface is up here.
Yeah, you're going to cut like this, and your teeth are facing down towards the handle. So if you had your fingernail go up, it'll catch the teeth. So I'll pass that around. Okay, so we like to put a little bit of lubricant on the teeth or the saw blade as well. So there's a little bit of wax on some of these bench pins, or there's some free wax floating around. So we just want to put a little bit on. You don't want to have a whole bunch or it can clog up your teeth. Just a little bit. You can add more as you go. It just makes it smoother. So this is your bench pin. We're going to have both sides of where we're sawing supported. So we're always going to be sawing in the V rather than over here, or else it kind of wobbles. So to get started, I usually use my fingernail as a guide. And I have my saw at a, not to push hard against your metal. You want to just go light, like a light graze. So I'm just barely touching. And now I have a groove established. So once you have your groove established, you're going to bring your saw frame so it's straight up and down. And I'm really going gentle. I'm using the full length of the blade. And I'm almost letting the gravity of it kind of do the work for me. You want to hold it firm against your bench pin with the other hand. As you go, you can start putting one finger behind your blade. So I'm using the full length of the blade. You don't want to just go like that. Nice and controlled. The other thing I should mention is, just like when you're writing, you're not writing, you know, you have your book at an angle, so for right-handed, you want your arm comfortable, and right-handed, you're going to be sawing in this direction. Left-handed, you'll be sawing in this direction. You don't want to go straight. I have the bench pins at a straight V because I don't know who's going to sit here, but my own bench pin, the V is at an angle. My V is pointing this way more. So yeah, you want to make sure your arms and shoulders are comfortable. Then I can move my fingers to behind my blade to hold it down. So the trick is not to push too hard. against your metal. So now I'm just going to hold it secure and just go up and down and back up. So I have my first saw line. So next we'll do the curvy line. So I'm just going to add a little more wax. I have some on the bench pin here. So once again, I will start at an angle, barely touching. Once I have the groove established, I will bring my saw frame straight up and down. So these teeth, it only cuts on the downward stroke. So we still want to keep our arm comfortable in that same position or direction. So we're just kind of angle our metal as we go, kind of like a jigsaw, or not a jigsaw, a scroll saw, like a scroll saw, or a sewing machine, how you, your hand's the machine and you're just going to kind of rotate your metal as you go. Going up and down. You don't want to be stopped and rotate or you can snap the blade. I'm just going to open my top clamp and pull my blade out rather than backing up. So there's that side. So because this blade is so tiny, you can do really small little cutouts or really elaborate little, shapes and designs. So once again, I am going to have my hands free. Grab the handle with your left hand and tighten, push to the head and tighten. So you want it nice and tight. So now I'm going to do the zigzag. So once again, lightly at an angle, barely touching the metal, get a groove. Bring your saw frame straight up and down. So now that we hit this right angle here, you're going to go up and down without going ahead. But what we're doing is we're rotating our metal. So we're just making enough space so our saw blade can go in a new direction. Really precision cuts with this little blade. So right now I'm at the point, up and down in one spot as I'm turning, and then continue. Partway through, if you think you need more wax, you can just add a little more.
So I have a question actually. Do you feel that it kind of gets more and more resistance and that's how you know to add more wax?
It's not flowing.
Okay.
It's not as smooth, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Cool. That makes sense.
So just staying in one spot. If you get stuck, just back up a little and keep going. once again, I'm going to open the top clamp and pull out my blade. So you could cut any type of shape you want. So now I'm going to pierce out. So I'm going to sit back over here, hands free. I'm going to insert my blade from behind through that hole. I'm going to let it rest on the base here. Once again, I'm going to push that ahead so it's tight in my clamp. Let go, double check that it's nice and tight. I'm going to add a little bit more wax. So now I'm going to pierce out this shape here. So I'm just going to saw to my line, and then I will follow my line. Just kind of maneuvering my metal as I go, keeping my arm and shoulder in that good natural position, because we don't want to be going awkward. We want to kind of keep that good position. Remember to go gentle and saw frame is straight up and down, and you're going to use the full length of your blade. So there's teeth from here down to about that much from the bottom as well. So you want to use the full range. So I can add a little more wax. Once we're ending, we want maybe our shape to be supported by the wood rather than out in the open. And it's okay to saw into the wood when you're ending. So I'm going to end where my line meets there. And lift off. So that's my little shape that I cut out. I'm just going to put it back here, open the top clamp, and I can pull that out. So I'll just do the little triangle here and then I'll let you guys get started. So once again, I'll insert the blade from the back. Hold this with my my left hand and push it ahead in the clamp. Make sure it's tight. Add a little more wax. So this will be like doing a zigzag. I'll just saw to the line and then start following the line. Once I'm at the corner, stay in one spot as I turn. If you get stuck, just back up a little. Make inlays for your wood using this technique. Yeah. And then I'm going to end off by having my shape supported by the wood. And your stop and start lines or spots. Next week I'll be showing you filing so you can fix those areas. If you went off your line slightly, you can fix that with your filing. So if you guys want to grab your 1/2 of your metal, your brass, and your saw blades, and maybe a Sharpie and pick a spot, you can get started. And I'll hand out some new drill bits for you.
Have you seen